it's you. You are the one who makes everything right. Summer days and winter nights. Slowly I open my eyes, and your smile is there to greet me, and whisper words to tell me it's alright. I'll stay by you in your darkest night. Time and again the situation shows you make it better. Time and again I realize you are the morning of my day. Time and again my feelings let me know you make it better. Wasted words on conversation, 'cause all I wanna do is just talk about the woman I love. The woman I love. I never thought I could be this way. When I hold you in my arms, I know I just wanna stay. This is the place I should be, in sweet harmony with the woman I love. You and I could always talk it over as friends, and you never ever worried. We always make it good in the end. Time and again the situation shows you make it better. Time and again I realize you are the morning of my day. Time and again my feeling let me know you make it better. No wasted words on conversation. Unnecessary separation.
I realized something this week.
What?
I have lost media that no one's looking for.
Yeah, no one's looking for that at all. I will tell you.
As far as the internet's concerned, they have no idea this CD exists. And I have a copy.
There's
It's
probably a
lost
reason for
media.
that.
No one even knows it's lost. No one's looking for it.
Nobody's looking for it. Nope. Nope.
Oh, come on. On about the 10th time of recording the line, you are the morning of my day. It's kind of catchy. It's kind of catchy.
Sure. Or Hawk, just play duct tape and you'll be all good.
Oh, that is not lost media. There are plenty of copies of duct tape.
Yeah. The question is, has anybody done re-audio for duct tape to have someone else sing it? That's the question.
If it wasn't too expensive, I would have had a custom vinyl picture disc with a picture of a roll of duct tape made with the song Duct Tape on it. But when I saw the price tag, I'm like, no, that's That's too expensive for the joke. Would
you have it in clear vinyl? What color vinyl would you have it?
No, it'd be like a picture disc. So clear with the picture. Like I felt like a stock image of a roll of duct tape, which is round, so it fits on a round. It would be cool to have like, a 12-inch single of the extended, version of duct tape on a duct tape picture disc. That would have been awesome. But and there are services that will do that. Although I think most of them, there's also space limits. So like I couldn't make it a 7-inch. I forget. All I know is when I was looking at the price of this, I'm like, no way. There's no way I'm spending money on this, that much money on this dumb joke.
The telethons did not make that much money, huh?
Telethons. Yeah. No, the telethons made lots of great money for rent and mixing boards that got shipped around the country and medical expenses.
Hey, I think that one mixing board's still working, right? Still going?
No, it's dead and it's behind this chair.
Oh, it says, oh no. So it just won't power up anymore, huh?
No, it won't. It powers on. It just doesn't boot into mode or into, and it's the type of thing that like when you call up about servicing, it's like, it's going to need a new motherboard. So it involves spending some money to do.
And it's just not worth it because you might as well just spend the money on something new.
I don't know. It's probably not a bad value. But I don't need a board that's that fancy, big, and expensive. This old.
It'd be fine.
This old Behringer here, which was configuration number 3 of the show, technically, because configuration number 1 was the Aardvark sound card, which directly accepted microphone inputs and basically utilizing its level software as a mixing board, with the Marantz cassette deck acting as a volume control for a jerry-rigged phone patch. That was number 1. And then when we went over to DEF CON briefly, Gothard brought his little cassette 4-track recorder out, which basically was a 4-channel mixer that you could record on the cassette. And I'm like, oh, this is great. We hook our microphones up to this. I actually have faders. Now, what I found out when I came back to NHB was that the sound quality of running all my audio through this old 4-track recorder was lesser than the sound quality of running the microphones directly into the Aardvark card. In fact, I remember, I kind of heard it. I'm like, I wonder if people noticed it doesn't sound as good. And Vamp's like, what happened to your sound? It's not as good as it used. So that's when I bought the Behringer.
Still going, huh?
And the Behringer got me to California.
And the old Mackies, man, they last forever.
Yeah, and then it was I was in California when I came back for a visit. That's when Damon was living with what was that dude that slept with his girlfriend?
He had the
roommate that he met in
TV? Is that the one with the big TV?
Yes, the blind people with the big screen TV.
Gators, speaking of that, I'm thinking about getting a bigger TV.
You're thinking about getting cataract surgery too, right? So you might actually be able to see that TV someday.
Maybe,
right?
maybe. I'm thinking about getting at least a 55. So.
Oh, well, you gotta at least get a. You know what the difference between a 55 and a 65 is? 55, you can kind of muscle on the wall by yourself if you know what you're doing. A 65, you're calling someone over for help.
50. The thing is, my wall should only handle a 50 if I put it on the wall, and I'd like to do that, but the problem is behind that is vents from my washer and dryer. And washer dryer vents and stuff.
You gotta be careful with your drill.
Vents, and I don't want to attempt that because I don't know where the vents are on the wall, and I don't want to poke a hole in that, and that would be very not good.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah.
I should check. Brian has not. Brian responded in.
He's probably at the party house, man. It's like 86 degrees today.
He wrote in Nadev Makatavis. But it's not.
Is that
funny.
Klingon?
don't. You know what? We're gonna have to put that into.
I think that's
Translate.
Klingon.
Let's put it into Google Translate and see if Google Translate.
Oh, there's Brian.
Putting on Makatavnis. Putting on a Bakutavnis?
A mock cocktail?
I don't know what that is.
I know, Brian in the chat's talking.
Okay. Yeah, it is Klingon though. You did.
I was right. I was right.
You
I got
were
it.
right. Oh, I'm supposed to spit when I say it.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, you need that big curved blade.
I don't speak Klingon.
Wow, all the Star Trek you've been watching, you're not picked up any Klingon. They had classes on that apparently in certain colleges. That's an important language.
That's great. That is
You know
I
what?
think
I think honestly, I think it's kind of cool because there are a lot of students that are like stressed up the yin yang, right? They're taking all these high level classes, neural, psychology and stuff, and then they're like, you know what? Screw it, I'm gonna take a class just to have a class. I'll take Klingon.
I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, going back to, I don't know, every now and then, I stumble on something through my folders and I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're up to now, or I wonder what's up with that, or I wonder what the internet has to say about it. And so, of course, this CD that I played that Mars is just online looking to buy a copy of now.
Oh, I haven't touched the keyboard since.
nope,
I don't want to accidentally
I heard
Google
you
that.
tapping away when I unmuted. You were totally searching for where you could buy this, and
Oh, I was tapping, wasn't I? I think I was going
Yeah.
into the chat room because I was listening to another VTuber.
Yeah.
So.
I cannot find any reference to the artist or the album anywhere on the internet. I even asked AI to look this up, and AI is
Hello, Brian.
And speaking of Brian,
Sorry.
we're gonna add him to the room. Hello.
I was wondering when you
You were in the green room, Brian, getting ready.
I know. I was.
So yeah, I was going through my folders of CD red, and I found this old Chestnut, which of course I used to use this as break music in the early days of the show. The artist's name is Kaz K. The album was released in 2002, and the album's called Spotlight on Love, Lost, and Found. Not even Discogs has a listing for this CD, or an entry for Kaz K. I was the assistant recording engineer on this album.
Spotlight on what is it? Spotlight on what?
Spotlight on Love, Lost, and Found. I've looked. I've looked.
Love and Found. Okay.
On Love, Lost, and Found. And of course, one of the best tracks on there is his lovely rendition of the classic Bed of Roses. So Kaz K is, if I recall correctly, he's Japanese, and he's friends with Peter Barron, who I worked with at Peter's little small independent studio he was kind of running on the side. And I don't know how he knew Kaz, but Kaz was in New York and was recording an album, and was recording it at Peter Barron's place, and he had a producer with him, and it was great because I suspect they were totally trash talking us whenever they started shifting over into Japanese, which was always fun to watch. But it's mostly a cover album, so I don't know if he's like the Japanese version of a lounge singer or what is.
Maybe.
Very nice guy, and he's got a voice.
The bottom of vodka is still lodged in my head. Some blonde gave me nightmares. I think she's still in my bed.
And then they also brought in Joe Lynn Turner, who Aaron is friends with, who has sung with Deep Purple. And they brought in Jolyn Turner to do some backup vocals. I ran those sessions. And he does backup vocals on this song. And then I missed out on the other session that they did. They brought in the gospel choir to add some more vocal stylings to this song. This is probably the most produced song on the album because it's the only one that includes the gospel choir. But yeah. Now the instruments, it's synth instruments, and that was pre-recorded before I even came into the... I basically was just running the vocal sessions, is what I was doing. They already had the backing tracks.
So there's that bunch of PayPal ads that are done by Will Ferrell, right?
Right.
The latest one, I like it. The woman, they're in line, whatever, and they're buying stuff online while they're in line at a shop. What? And the woman turns to him and says, "You're not going to sing, are you?" And then he starts singing.
Oh, nice.
So it's great. It's like, oh, thank you for doing that ad.
Dune writes in, is this your street cred album? Cool. No, that's my Lost Media cred album. I think my street cred album would be the Adrian Gale album. It would be the one I had the most street cred for. Let's see. Let's see. I think this would. Yeah, there was it was early 2000s, and 80s hair metal was all the rage, and so I ran the board and assisted on some sessions for an 80s hair metal album. Why not? But yeah, that was at the studio that I was working is such a loose term. Working implies that I got paid. And
volunteer work.
Yeah, well, it was intern work. I might have got some money for the Adrian Gale thing. I didn't get money for the Kaz K thing, but I almost did because, like, I only assisted a few vocal sessions. It was one of these things where I was kind of coming in, hanging out at the studio while Peter was thinking about investing money into going pro with it. So it's kind of like, we're hanging out, we're playing around with things. We're not doing anything that's generating a whole bunch of money, but we're trying to come and that he could turn this into a business and a partnership, and that he'd have me as his assistant engineer in the studio, and at that point, if we were booking paid gigs, there'd be money to have. But I'm pretty sure the Adrian Gale stuff I did get a little money for. The Kaz K was kind of more volunteer hangout work, and then their mixing engineer was gonna flake at the last minute. They called me up like, could you get a train in the city tomorrow? Can you come in and mix this? And I'm like, holy crap, I don't know if I can. I've never mixed a full professional album on my own before.
You just said yes, I'll be right there.
And I said yes, I can. But I was feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders, and they're like,
there's always the first gig, right?
Right, and then
for it.
And then the hired mixing engineer ended up showing up anyways and doing it. So they called me back and said, "No, we're good. You don't need to come in. We got it covered." But
you should have said I got my good pants on and everything.
Well, ultimately, the album would have been mixed one way or the other, and life would have gone on one way or another. Mixing that album, not mixing that album, make no difference. Because if I had a mixing credit on that album, it would still be a CD that the internet has no knowledge of its existence.
Now, Gators, I do have a song for you. And
You
this
do.
isn't the same. This may not be the same guy, but his from 2008, and he has one viewer.
2008.
And I
with,
put it in the StreamYard chat.
oh, okay. Let's see what this is.
Not the
So
same guy, but
It's Kaz Carson.
yeah, it's different. But he has one viewer, one view, or one subscriber, and it's from 2008. I just thought it was hilarious, which I don't ever see.
Well, it's
Pretty
got
good.
it's got quite the thumpy thump going.
It's got some bass, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mixed
kinda-
very badly, but
it's in
you gotta
there
start
so that
singing in a minute.
you feel it.
Yeah, you definitely feel it. It's when you want in the back of your
Yeah,
19.
it's me, Kaz Carson. Thinking people that it was coming through. Even though we're going to date. And me, we can do it. And
I thought you might
say
enjoy
all
this
my
one, Gator.
love. Even try to do it, baby, Einstein. Anything
It takes two to
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Hey, he just does what everybody in the world does now is resample.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how long that goes. I just listen to part of it. I'm like, it's not him, but it's pretty hilarious.
No, that's not him, but that is something.
That is something. One. Gators. One person. 2008. And you can follow him on @KazCarson Music. There
Yes.
you go. On his website.
Dune writes in, but you are the Johnny Gators that got to hold some juice. I don't know about juice, but
Have you been home people's juice again?
no. But I did run out to buy a pie for a birthday celebration for someone that didn't want cake, that only ate natural. So I need to find like these natural pie of some sort or whatever. It's like we want a little something for a birthday celebration like a cake, but she doesn't eat cake. This place makes good pies, and if that's not open, you could try. Like they're sending me to places that are closed or not open anymore. I'm running all around the city trying to find this damn pie, and so I. And then it's like they say that they need it to serve like 12 people. Well, I go there, and my camera freezes.
Oh.
And my screen goes black.
Oh.
And yeah, because
I hate when that happens.
yeah. I mean, I'm walking down the streets of New York like, hey, I'm walking here, and my webcam just turns the screen black, which makes it
So
really
everybody's
hard.
waving at you, doing they're honking in the background.
And I'm just standing still in the middle of the road, like, dude, I'm still walking. The camera just cut out.
oh man.
It's, I mean, what do you do when that happens?
Still have the same problem, huh?
Yeah. And it's crashed so hard. I'm gonna have to force OBS to close. Is what I'm gonna have to do because it won't even let me stop the virtual camera. But yeah, so like they told me that they needed something to serve something like 12 people. And I go there and they're like, well, this pie serves 6 or 8 or something like that. And so I'm like, okay, could I get 2 of those? And mind you, they didn't give me a strict budget, but they gave me like cash out of petty cash to come back with change. And they didn't tell me how much change they wanted or didn't want or whatever. And it sounds like I'm setting up for a big disaster. It wasn't that big of a disaster. It was more along the lines of I show up with 2 pies and they're like, well, why'd you buy 2 pies? Normally we only just have one thing. I'm
You're
like, well,
one for me and one for everybody else.
I'm like, you said you needed 12 it to serve 12. They tell me this serves 8. So I bought 2 to make sure there'd be enough for everyone because you entrusted me with this task. Now, that was not the studio that I recorded these albums at. That was at the other studio because the studio I recorded the stuff out, I wasn't holding juice. I was running boards. The place where I was running and grabbing juice for people was the Looking Glass Studios where, yeah, I never got to run a board. And now And now I cannot get virtual camera to run again because, all right, maybe if I do that, maybe if I stop the camera, maybe it'll let me, nope. All right, yeah, so this is really annoying that my webcam works perfectly fine on Dune Show, and it works perfectly fine for work, but when I try to do my own show...
Well, you know what? Would you rather it work for your own show and not for work?
Well, I try to avoid. It would give me a perfect excuse to not go on camera while working.
Or to get a free camera from work.
Actually, this is a free camera from work.
Oh, no, that's why.
Uh-oh.
That's right. I have a not free camera that's almost the same. The reason why I'm using the work camera is the work camera is an enterprise model that has the same specs as the consumer model that I have. It's just that the work camera works with the Logi software, the Logitech Capture, and I was using Logitech Capture to create a virtual camera to stream the thing so I could zoom. And Logitech Capture stopped working, which is why I'm using OBS now. And both of them are crashing things. So the other camera, I don't care about Logitech Capture anymore because it just plain stopped working with Windows 11 as far as I can tell.
Wow, you need to tell your work to upgrade your cameras.
Well, no, it's the Logitech software. What they do is they tell you to use a different software, and then when you go, you get the different software. You find out the different software does some of the other things that the Logitech Capture does, but it doesn't let you set a virtual camera. So it's like, well, why the hell did you...
OBS is a perfect solution.
Right. Except that it's crashing on me when I... And now it's telling me whenever I try to run it that's already running, even though I've killed the process. My God, it is so... It is still in the system tray. It won't let me right-click it. I killed the process from the task manager. Oh, here we go. Here's another task that's hiding in there. Let's end that one. And no, it won't. OBS is like refusing to completely close. Oh, there it goes. It finally disappeared. Maybe now I can run it.
Hey, it looks like you're using the same camera as Mars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'd be using a laptop camera. That's what I'd be using. And it's only 720p. But it works fine in OBS, so I don't know. I don't use the Logi software on OBS.
Oh, by the way, you were talking about your quad box last time.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the device you plugged into the Pi?
What?
Oh, it was
I think you said. I just don't recall.
Hi-Fi Berry
yeah.
DAC 8X.
It's like $70, Brian.
And
Hi-Fi
Berry, HIFIBERRY, and it's their DAC DAC 8X.
DAC
8X.
8X, and you get that from
Hi-Fi Berry.
Adafruit or directly from them?
Hi-Fi Berry. Yeah, they have a website.
Okay.
And I added a volume control this week.
Oh.
So, and it's working.
In the car?
Not in the car yet. No, Thursday morning they're putting the amp in.
Oh, so they are. So you did talk to them.
Well, I talked to the people that didn't. I talked to the place that I didn't decide I hate. But well,
so not the one in Rhode Island.
Right. No, this is the one in Massachusetts. That's part of like they have a few different shops in Massachusetts.
Like I said, you give me a drill, I'll install a hole for you for free, Gators.
Yeah, that's nice. I'll keep that in mind next time I'm in the area. Okay. But yeah, so anyways,
wow, Amazon has the DAC 8X for $250.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Yeah, that's I paid less than that.
Yeah, I saw it on one of the sites for $70.
Like you can get it directly from Hi-Fi Berry.
Right.
Although I'm not finding my order email. But if I search but But yeah, just go to hifiberry.com and you go through the products, and it's a it's under the category analog, because DAC stands for digital analog converter. So basically, they're digital boards that have analog line level outputs on them. So they sell a bunch of different DACs, but the DAC 8X is the one that does the multi-channel. And it's $64.90 plus shipping. But they have lots of cool little audio devices that you can connect to Pis. What's really cool that I like is they have little amplifiers that you can connect to your Pi that require a beefier power supply, but the power supply will backfeed and power the Pi as well, so you only have to hook up one power, not two. Although I think their most lightweight amp doesn't even require its own power supply. It'll power off the Pi's power, but it's a very low wattage power. But
that's cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the Hi-Fi Berry site. Yeah, $65. Why is Amazon looking for shit more?
Because they don't sell them, and some third-party person is selling them with a markup to take advantage of people that don't ever venture outside of Amazon. Figure,
well, I'm going to put the price because there will be a tariff.
Well, and I love how we live in a society where it's normal to add sales tax at the store to keep you aware of how much of your money is going to your item you buy and how much of your money is going to the state. But when Amazon decides that they're going to offer that breakdown, they're like the fucking enemy of the state all of a sudden. So that's... What
do you mean? I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
Oh, some people who are listening know what I mean by that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what, they add sales tax?
No. Amazon is I guess there was some griping about how Amazon was actually going to display on their site how much of a price of an item is due to a tariff for transparency to their customers.
And when they dropped it, they're not going to do the tariff.
No, I think that, well, I mean, tariff talk ain't disappearing overnight. You know, this debate will be with us for at least the next 4 years.
Oh, absolutely. They came because Trump told him not to show the tariff.
Right. He doesn't want. He's criticizing Amazon's move of showing the tariff as being politically motivated.
Well, see, if you know what the tariff is, does that mean, or you get the information about the tariff when you purchase it?
Right.
Does that mean you can deduct that from your income tax?
You'd have to ask an accountant that.
You know, of course, most of the tax rules are developed by Congress and the IRS.
It's designed to be complicated.
Right.
That's how you get all the loopholes in there.
It's like, gee, Mr. Trump, are you going to eliminate?
I was just going to talk about the Amazon thing because I found that a little ridiculous to get angry over transparency. Like, don't we want people to be more informed?
We don't have tariffs yet, do we?
I don't even, I don't know, but I'll know when everything goes up. But it's already going up anyways. So I don't know. I don't know. No, I mean, what? It's been the
There.
I'm not making the point. I'm not even getting into the weeds of the debate of should we or should we not have tariffs. I don't care to have that conversation on this show. I just think that the argument over should Amazon display the tariff or not display the tariff is such a stupid argument. like, dude, let them show that. I would like to see what I'm paying for. I would like to see the line on there.
Well, okay, and so I agree with that. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's so I don't know what debate Doom's trying to have.
What?
I don't know what debate Dune's trying to have with the chat, because I'm not even talking about should we or
I'm
should
not
we
even
do
seeing-
tariffs.
I'm not even seeing the chat there.
Ah,
They don't charge us to. Do they? I'm sure they don't. What?
I don't know.
So one story I heard, this little small toy business put an order in with China to get a container load of toys.
Try to get
Normally
it in
that
before the tariff.
shipment- No, hang on.
Okay.
This order was placed quite a while ago.
Okay.
Probably even before the discussion of tariffs were even made.
Okay.
So normally this shipment is a couple $1,000s. Suddenly, this shipment is he's actually being billed after it left the docks. He was he was charged in the millions of dollars
Millions for
because he's a
thousands of
small
dollars.
shop. This would just put him out of business.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't sound fair at all. You know what
No.
I'm saying? Because he wasn't told what the tariff would be. He did. I don't even think he was thinking about a tariff at that time.
Because of the lag between the order and the shipment arriving.
Sure. So suddenly he's hit with this tariff that he didn't even know about. So that's wrong.
Well, you
should
got to
know
break a
it's
few eggs to make an omelet, Brian. I mean,
That's
you know,
right.
I mean, so if you got to bankrupt a few mom and pop shops, what's the, but hey. Yeah. God. There's got to be a better way.
So the-
I think we should follow Bars's model.
So the DAC
and drink coffee.
HD is $109.
Okay.
That's the little one, right? Yeah, that's the little one.
What are we talking about?
Cold rotisserie
The
chicken.
DAC 2 HD.
Oh, okay. The DAC 2H. So
But
we're back
the-
to talking tech. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what we wanted to be at.
That is where we
But
wanted
why
to
would
be.
that be so much more expensive? And then you don't look like audio connectors. Come on, give me the additional information. No, there isn't any.
Well, I mean, let me pull it up. Right. So the DAC 2 HD.
No, I got it. Stereo output.
Yeah, that's a line level stereo output DAC. It's $110.
Whereas the quad one goes for $65.
Right. Well, they have different levels of I don't know why the stereo is more expensive, but there's probably a better quality to what's going into there for hi-fi stereo. I mean, you're probably going to have to make some sacrifices to fit multi-channel into a small little pie box, but I honestly don't know. But
Possibly. Okay,
I mean-
it says dedicated 192 kilohertz / 24 bit high quality Burr Brown DAC. Whatever that means. Versus. Wait,
But-
to find information.
But anyways, reading through products of pie accessories on a website is
what?
probably not the best entertainment right now.
Oh, I thought that's what we were about.
If we were prepared to talk about it, but like right now, the internet is watching two dudes going, let me read the specs for this one. What I will say, and it's absolutely worth telling our listeners that Hi-Fi Berry makes great DACs and little amps.
Oh, actually,
for pies.
the DAX 8X
And you should
says
view the
also
site and
the
read-
192
Yeah.
hertz sample rate, 8 channels.
Right. Which one?
So the DAC 8X
Oh yeah, it
is also
supports.
192
Yeah.
kilohertz.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the 8X is cheaper than that 2HD, but I don't know what makes the 2HD
Maybe they
HD.
sell better.
I
or something.
I don't know. But here's the important thing. They do sell an amp add-on that's rather cheap, rather stripped down, low power, and can be powered by a Pi Zero. And this is cool because a Pi Zero doesn't have a good line level output. So if I buy a Pi Zero and I buy this really lightweight amp board on there. The Pi Zero has a composite video output that you can solder a connection to. I could basically take a Pi Zero and this mini amp and put it into something that I can bury inside of a TV, feed the TV speaker, feed a composite input on the TV, and wire in some rotary controls and make it basically be a modern TV to drive that. But Dune's been enjoying the tangerine coffee from Coffee Brand Coffee.
Coffee brand?
Yeah, that's what he said. Now, Mars, is this something you're familiar with?
No, that's what I said. Got a link?
Oh, that's now I've been having some coffee from I think it was from like Honduras or something like that. I have this coffee club thing that every month they send me.
I want to do that. I haven't done
bags.
that yet, but the problem is I'm never home enough to get it. I'm afraid I'm not going to get it. That's the problem.
But
I do want to get it. I want to do one of these.
Well, you got a nice little table. You can keep the bags of coffee.
No, I give that table back to them. They came by and picked it up. It was for their bear. I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to.
They bring your coffee. You give them their table. There you go.
Yeah, they're old. That's
Anyways, I got a interesting video that I took this week, this past weekend.
with your Super 8?
No, this required sound. And Dune shared a link for you to take a look at. So Saturday night, I was up late doing some things, programming volume controls, yelling at AI that they were not programming the volume controls properly. And at some point, around 1:30ish, I'm thinking like, gee, I really should be getting to bed. Oh. And I take my headphones off and I'm like, well, that sounds like someone screaming outside. Surely that'll stop soon. And I make my way downstairs to get a little drink, have a little, before bed pee, brush my teeth, whatever. And it's like, man, that dude's still yelling. I should probably document this. And so I whipped out my phone and I positioned myself at an angle from the window so I could try to maybe not be within sight if he were to look my way and see someone holding up because this dude was angry to the level that he probably wouldn't be happy if he knew someone was pointing a camera at him.
You can't get through your door, right?
Well, to be fair, if I was thinking logically, if he's not going to break down the door of the house he's screaming at, he's probably not going to break down my door. Because if he were angry to the point of breaking down doors, he'd be breaking down the door of the place that he's screaming at. Because best I can figure from his screaming is that someone offended him somehow. And he got so angry and offended by this that the only way to deal with this was, you need to come out here so I can kick your ass right now. And I'm going to stand around here and scream at you until you come out and let me kick your ass. And dude that's in the house not getting his ass kicked, that doesn't want to go out and, allow the angry screaming dude to kick his ass, is like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm going to just stay in the house here.
Is that what he said? That's hilarious.
I didn't hear his side of the conversation.
But
I imagine, he's like, no, bro, I'm good. I'll stay in here and not get my ass kicked. But anyways, let me bring up the video here so that we can screen share. And I did post-process this audio to because it was recording from a distance. So I was able to maximize it so we could better clearly hear the poetic ramblings of this angry dude. So let me find. Here it is. There it is. There's all the crap under. No, that's the wrong one. Oh, that's a new quirk. If I don't remove and delete the slide, if I go to share something else, even if I select something else, it's going to share the thing that I was previously sharing that I haven't got rid of yet. That is quite the feature. All right.
That is a feature, Gators.
That is a feature. So here it is. Here is my video I took, and let me start playing it.
What time was this?
Saturday night,
Time.
1:45 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Did you darken the room before you stuck the camera out the window?
Did I what?
Did you turn off the lights in the room?
No,
See, that's what I would have done. So he would.
Well, I didn't want to make a change to his surroundings, but I guess
just turn the light off. That's all.
it was. I only had one light on that was on the other side, like that was further away from here. I don't know.
Oh, and he was it was in the shadow of your body. So it would have been difficult to see the.
Well,
camera.
he was down on the corner,
no.
so he's
but
a ways
you had
away.
The camera in front of you.
Yeah.
So if it looked in your direction, he probably wouldn't have seen the camera because it still would have been dark enough.
He wasn't. He was more focused on the house he was screaming at than the house 2 blocks away, or 2 houses away.
I'm
Warhawk.
calling the cops.
Sparky wants to know if this is the same guy who's driving the 2-wheel drive plow truck. Maybe, I don't know. And Warhawk asked him if it was the time of the month.
Maybe someone complained, which is why it was like an issue.
I don't. He was at some point. He was saying things. Well, we'll play it so you can hear. But he's saying things like, come out here and say that, or try to say that. He was alluding to like that something was said. Words were said to him that made him this angry.
The guy probably stole his girl.
I don't know.
Was that a girl or a guy?
Guy.
I see you set your camera up at high quality mode.
Well, I had to zoom in all the way. Yes, this was after midnight. This is what.
He's 29 years old?
I don't know what that has to do with this.
Maybe the guy called her a baby.
Wow, he said it.
Yeah, he did. Although, to be fair, with the quality of his video, I'm not sure if he's allowed to say it or not. He also threw out lots of use of the word that got Sparky in trouble.
Uh-oh.
You know what? You know what, Gators, what you really should have done is played that opening song you play on the show through your window.
Got 29 years and still not a decent citizen of a society.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you're right, Sparky.
Oh. Dude, he's aggro. Oh.
At this point, it sounds almost like he's kind of getting a little less angry. His tone is
No,
actually
he's still pissed. He's just getting
he's
tired.
still pissed. So I thought he was getting ready to leave at this point, and I thought maybe that's the end of it. So I decided to get a little just for posterity. 1:47 in the morning, there on the clock.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
And so at that point, I went and brushed my teeth, and I came out, and he's still screaming. And at this point, he's screaming to the point of, I'm not going anywhere. he's clearly saying things that, you know, he's being very blunt that he wants to commit violence against this dude he's angry at, and he's not going to leave, and I will come back here every night if I have to. And it was
inside. Why don't you just like call the cops and say, hey, there's someone belligerent outside my place. Come get him.
well,
That's what I would do.
yeah. At this point, I was thinking, is this a 911 call or is this a look up the police station call? I'm like, there's got to be someone
I had
at
that
the
on
police
speed
station.
dial at my old place, Gators.
So I Googled for the police department of this town, and I put the numbers in, and I dialed the numbers, and just as I'm doing that and the phone starts ringing, I see the blue lights. It's like, oh,
good.
never
So
mind.
They already made it.
It's like, doop, nope, I'm good.
Did you,
And
did
if
you
they
record
answered,
blue
you
lights
could
or
say,
no?
hey, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, you guys are fast. Awesome.
And at that point, I did take a little video of that, but I didn't even transfer it to my computer because it's basically video of the guy standing like this. And at this point, I'm not even hearing any voice. So whatever dialogue this guy is having with the police officer while standing like this, it is happening at a much more quieter level. So he was capable of talking at a normal level. It just required having someone with a gun standing in front of him to accomplish that.
Either the guy inside called or someone else in the neighborhood called. So
No, it was not a 911 call, Dune. I looked up the local number for the police station. Is what I did, because it's like, is this 911 or is it? No, this isn't. My life's not in danger. I don't feel threatened yet.
Gator,
So-
what you do?
Well,
What you
it
do?
could have been somebody else in danger as well.
Right. But also he's not trying to break the door down. Basically, it was like, all right, let's find the number for the police station and see if someone
Well,
answers
the guy
there
did
and is on
threaten
duty.
to beat him up or something, right?
Yeah, but he also was just being. I don't know. I didn't call 911. If I had called 911, I wouldn't have hung up. I would have explained like, oh, never mind. Police have arrived. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? When I used to call them, where I used to live, there was a credit union across the street and an ATM.
Yeah.
Well, people used to, for some reason, decide to take money out at 3 a.m. I don't know why, but they get mugged, and I'd have muggings about twice a week, 3 times a week, and I had a phone next to me. And I just hit the memory 3, and it would call them, and I'd be like, yeah, someone at the Patelco. They're like, okay, we'll be there. And next thing you hear, boo! And usually the person's already gone, but they're helping out the lady who got mugged at least. So,
First of all, I'm surprised how long it took for someone to call the police. Although maybe it was the response time of the police, because clearly this guy that's being yelled at knows he's being yelled at and is not coming out. And if I was that guy, I'd be like calling the police way before I had called them, which maybe he did.
and he might have.
Did.
Might take him a while to get there.
Well, I think at some point he was yelling at him, go away or I'm going to call the police. Because I think at some point he had yelled back. I don't think I got it on the recording, but at some point he yelled, "Go ahead, call them," or something to that effect. Like, he basically decided he didn't care if they called the police. He did suddenly care when the police showed up, but at the time when he was screaming, he really didn't care.
Well,
about.
He knew when the police showed up, he knew he'd be questioned, so he was probably ready to go. That's not a problem.
I don't know what is.
He's like, okay, the police are here. I got to put pants on. Just a second.
Yeah. Now, Sparky asked you if it rang at least 2 times. It actually, I called the police station, not 911, and there was a pickup as I was hanging up, and I figured it was going to be like an automated menu.
No,
so
usually a lot of times they won't do automated at night.
I heard a voice as I was hitting the hang up button, and I don't know if it was a real human I hung up on or an automated menu I hung up on, but whatever it was, I hung up on it. It was not the 911 number. It was just the police station number, and they didn't call me back. So
They probably documented it at least.
Maybe they saw that I was calling nearby from where someone was already dispatched to and probably figured, oh, they were called to report that and saw the police showed up. Mm-hmm. Took you long enough to call us. Yeah.
Yes, Dude is correct.
Doing ready to get. I
He wants
can't
to get
believe.
me a Ring camera. Gators really needs one too.
I can't believe you don't have outside cameras. You really need to step up for our viewing enjoyment. No, this is. I rarely have this much excitement here. Usually it's just kids running around screaming, which, you know, A, I don't need to be taking video of other people's kids, and B, I don't need to be sharing video of other people's kids. As loud as they can scream at time. You know it's springtime when you hear the sound of the autistic kid across the street screaming bloody murder. That's when you know it's truly spring.
The springtime call.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that to put anyone down. I'm just
No.
accurately describing what spring is like in my neighborhood.
We all have them. I have one too.
But actually, he's been screaming less this spring than past years. So there is some progress there, I guess. That's nice. Sparky writing again. Chat demands cams or we riot. Sparky's going to be out. It's going to be Sparky out there on a Saturday night at 1:45 in the morning screaming, I'm not going anywhere until you put up cams.
Sparky, the problem is he's going to put up that webcam outside. It's going to keep freezing on him and have to restart OBS.
Yeah, I'll put up the webcam, and then I'll be here on Monday like, oh man, the most ridiculous thing happened Saturday, and I'll just bring up like the still shot of like my thumb in front from when I set it up.
Fine.
Oh, it just froze on my thumb.
Yeah, no one's going near Sparky.
Yeah, Sparky says, only thing I hear is cracking twigs as the deer step on them around my parts.
You think they're deer?
Nice. Well, it's certainly not me, because I know better than to bring Sparky a fruitcake. Because he's not expecting a fruitcake.
Or when dude flushes the toilet upstairs.
That's right, because Sparky mails all his letters from Dude's place. Well, no, he's mailed letters from various places. He's mailed from Dune's place. He's mailed from a vacant lot in his town. He's mailed from Twitch headquarters.
I mean, honestly, you might as well just mail from Twitch headquarters.
Yeah. I forget where the screwdriver came from. I think that came from the vacant lot in his town.
Dune, you'll like this. At the beach house, they now have in people's yards, so the people are putting these up, and they're all over the town, that say fawning season.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. There'll be some humping deers.
Because
Humpty Hump?
Yeah, they are doing the Humpty Hump.
well, and my theory is the deer don't mind having their little babies in the town because there are a lot less predators there. Mountain lions, coyotes, etc. They're just not there.
These days, the humans are looking safer than the mountain lions.
Right. So all you have to do is get people not to hit them with their car.
Oh, they'd stay out of the damn road.
I would add a line. Yes, if you hit the door, that'll be thousands of dollars in damage, and the guy at the insurance company will say, "Ha ha 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 ha! You idiot!"
Well, one night I had a line of deer run in front of me when I was driving home from Walmart, and it was kind of a foggy night. It was three of them blocking the road. I slammed the brakes, but the best I could do was send one of them flying over the top of my car.
Oh, poor deer.
And they smashed up my headlight, so I had to buy a new headlight fixture. Actually, I had to buy the whole like front part of the and fixtures and front part that holds the headlight fixtures in, which I think I still had that. I bought that part. So it was some parts I bought and paid a mechanic to put it in. The problem is that the replacement part comes from a scrapped car from the scrapyard, so it's not brand new. It
Yeah,
tip
pick
top.
apart. Yeah.
It's a piece.
Was this a prior Ford
Yeah, this
Ford
was.
Taurus?
Well, actually, this one was the first one, and the first one was a Mercury Sable wagon.
Oh, the Mercury Sable.
Yeah, which was so I bought the part the from the scrapyard, and it was not in as it was in one piece, and it worked, but it was missing some clips. So when the mechanic put it in, the headlights had a little bit of wiggle room, which was not a big deal to me. I mean, they were functional. A little, if you nudge a headlight and it wiggles, what the fuck do I care about that? Well, you know why I care about that? Because the state of New Jersey cares about that. That's why I care about that.
So the mechanic says, no, they're not going to accept that.
Well, no, the mechanic didn't say anything because he thought they would accept it. But then I took it in to be inspected, and they failed me because the light. Now, here's the thing. They failed me because the left headlight was wiggling too much. They said, just fix that one up. You'll be fine. Because the right one wiggled significantly less than the left one. So I take it to the mechanic, and I said, yeah, they're giving me problems because this is wiggling. And so he's like, oh, yeah, we'll take care of that. And he grabs some tubes of epoxy. He mixes them up because it's the type that's got like the two compounds that you mix together, the black and the white make gray. He grabbed a piece of cardboard, cut it up into little strips, dipped the cardboard into the epoxy, and wedged it into the headlight fixture, and that made it not wiggle. He said, there you go, that ought to take care of it. So I take it back to the inspection station. Now the problem is that when you take a failed car back in for a reinspection, they have on record why it failed, so they make sure to check the thing that failed.
Yeah.
So they heavily scrutinize any wiggling of the headlight. And they found that although the left headlight had no wiggle to it, the right one had a little wiggle to it. And so I said, no, this is still wiggling. You didn't fix this. And I said, that's not the one it failed for. It failed for this one. It's like, no, you got to get them both to not wiggle. So I had to go back to the mechanic.
The other one wiggles too.
Hand him a $5 so he could open up the epoxy and wedge more cardboard in there.
Gators, why couldn't you do it?
I didn't know where he was wedging the cardboard. He had the magic touch to it.
I see.
It was literally like I think he was like, $15 or $20 would be good, something like. Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah, it was a Saturday art project. It's fine.
Right.
Put a little paper mache on there somewhere. It's fine.
Dude writes,
and then after he went for a beer.
Scam. Yeah. No, dude was cool. Yeah, I could have done that myself. I just don't know where he was wedging it in. And mind you, I wouldn't have thought of that trick. I'm not paying him literally to wedge cardboard into my headlight. I was paying him for the idea of knowing what would make it hold to appease the state of New Jersey.
I duct taped it myself. Add some duct tape around that thing so it don't wiggle. It's fine.
Sparky writes in, so if they both wiggle the same amount, all is good. Yes, if they both wiggle the same amount and it was a small enough amount that didn't raise concern, it would have been good. Oh, man. But, yeah, that is... and then that's the car that broke down in the middle of downtown Augusta, Maine, when the transmission suddenly went. I was going to drive... down to Jersey for a weekend, and I was on the top of a hill at a stop sign, and it was one of these like blind quarter things. So it's like, all right, quick, gun it, I can go, and I give it gas, and it lurches forward a little bit, and then there was this like lurching upward and this loud conk, and then the car started rolling backwards, even though I was in drive giving it gas. It's like that's not.
You're not allowed to say what really happened though, because that's derogatory nowadays.
The transmission went.
Yeah, most people used to say they dropped the tranny.
I
You're
think
not allowed
that's
to say that
acceptable.
anymore.
It's context.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that anymore, Gators.
Well, in that context, you did, and everyone knew what you meant. But
Yeah.
anyway, Sparky Renegade, you let the smoke out.
You let the smoke out. Yes, that's exactly what you did.
I let something out, but I don't what it was. I don't know, but it certainly made a loud thump.
Sorry. Yeah, Twitch will yell at me, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Sorry,
well, I
Gators,
mean,
hope you don't really want to do a show anymore.
oh, well, I've had a good run. As I said to the guy that talked me into resuming the show after
Who taught
after
you
I quit.
resuming the show?
well, remember the first time I quit?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which technically I think is the only time I quit, because the other time I was fired. I don't care what Rico says. But anyways, the first time I quit was, I don't think I even did a full year. It was within my first year of doing this show. In fact, I have the episode labeled. I'm not going to play it. I really don't want to hear it again.
Yeah, understandable.
Well, that was during the time when we had a regular caller on the show by the name of Lisa.
Lisa.
God, I was young.
We
I was,
all miss Lisa. What happened to Lisa? Are we going to call her one day, Gators?
No.
You can talk to her? No?
no,
Oh,
no,
that's a no?
no. That's a no.
Okay.
Well, I
Okay.
really, I'm. Okay, yeah, that
You're the new
happened.
co-host, Gators.
That happened April 8th of 2006. Mind you, I started the show Halloween of 2005 and officially started the show January of 2006. So I had been doing the show for 3 months. No, yeah, because the beginning of April. I was just starting my 4th month. So, yeah, 3 months of doing the show. It was within those 3 months that Lisa started listening to the show. And that's back when we had an IRC chat room.
Wow, you had an IRC chat room?
Yeah. We
I
had.
remember that.
You don't remember that?
I never went to the IRC chat room.
Yeah, we had an IRC chat room.
Wow.
And
Was it on Undernet?
I forget which net it was. It might have been
Fnet.
Undernet.
Fnet, Undernet. one of the
Yeah, it
two,
was
I'm
either
sure.
EFNet or Undernet. I mean, those were the two big ones. It wasn't Sorcery Net. I know that. That's where LeVar ended up. But
I
yeah,
see.
so there was an NHB Radio IRC chat room, and Rico was running that, and Rico delegated admin to Mystery Girl.
Oh, yeah.
And Mystery Girl, for a period of time, was the #1 fan of my show. And I knew she was the #1 fan of my show because she called in and told me she was. And I was not one to argue with anyone who was going to tell me that. So I gave her the title, and she was happy to have the title, and she called in a few times. And then Lisa starts calling in, being really flirty and attention whory.
She was jealous.
Well, no, Lisa wasn't jealous. Mystery Girl was the one that got a little, well, she didn't get jealous.
Little do you know, they're listening right now.
But Mystery Girl didn't like Lisa because Lisa was this high school girl that was coming in acting all attention whory, spoiled brat, popular girl in high school type. Mm-hmm. And I'm not interested in necessarily robbing the cradle. But if you genuinely have a connection with someone that is within an age range that would work over time, there's no harm in laying a little groundwork. This is probably misguided thought that I would never advise or recommend to anyone. She was 17, and we were just talking on the phone, and that's about all it was. Mm-hmm. That is all it was. That's all it ever was. There was talk of possibly meeting up and dating after her 18th birthday if she still liked me and I still liked her. And maybe that's a little on the cringe side for someone in their mid-20s to be talking to a high school senior about possibly dating in the future. Like I said, I kind of regret it in hindsight. I definitely regret it in hindsight. It's, but it is
what happens.
It is what happened. But she was regularly calling into the show, sending clothed pictures, and she was definitely a popular. She was breaking the hearts into high school, working her way through I think she was running out of guys at her high school to date. She went through boyfriends so quickly, like, and she was like, "Dude, call me after the show." And she didn't say "dude," but she actually did give me her number to call her, and she took my calls, and she called me back, and we were calling back and forth for a number of weeks.
You're call buddies. That's awesome.
And we were really just kind of talking about ourselves, our lives, growing up, things like that. And we genuinely had interest in talking to each other, learning about each other, because we were different people from different backgrounds and different ways of things. Dune asking, was there a face incident? I don't, there was incident, but I don't know about face. So Lisa was not getting along with Mystery Girl in the chat room. Rico gave Mystery Girl admin status. Mystery Girl was going on a power trip in the IRC chat room, and to the point where staff members were complaining about Mystery Girl's admin habits. Like I think there were some people like Oi the Drama, I think, got banned from the chat room.
Oi got banned.
Someone on staff got banned, and I think it might have been
reason.
Oi.
Poor
And,
Oi.
like, Oi pissed off Mystery Girl. Mystery Girl banned him. He's like, dude, I'm like staff on the show. And I think maybe he did get unbanned at some point, but times where staff members on the staff list are literally going, Rico, you need to get your admin under control. Unless there's some serious like harassment going on, staff members should not be getting banned. And Rico, at some point when forced with the issue, got all pushed back, going, Mystery Girl has the final say. She's the admin. If you don't like it,
Was he doing
don't
Mystery
piss her
Girl
off.
about it?
What's that?
Was he doing Mystery Girl?
I don't know. I don't know what the deal was between Rico and Mystery Girl.
You should send
And
him a message. Were you doing Mystery Girl?
And I'm paraphrasing from memory. But I know to me it felt like Rico at some point stood up and basically said, Mystery Girl is running the chat room. If you don't like it, go pound sand. That wasn't his exact words, but that's the tone I remember. Mind you, we're talking many years ago at this point. So maybe I'm not remembering that correctly, but I do know that there were other staff members that were upset about Mystery Girl's admitting habits in the chat room, to the point that there was this dialogue about it, and Rico did not back us up or help us. Which is
That's sad.
Which is one of the things in my list of reasons why when Rico pissed me off, it's like, fuck that dude. Like, he didn't back up our staff. What does he do for us other than keep the server on? Personality wise, I wouldn't mind having a beer with the dude.
Yeah, dude was smart. He stayed away from everything. Good job,
Yeah,
dude.
doing running in. Best part of all this, I have absolutely no knowledge of any of this. I stayed away from all this.
He was smart.
But he was on the staff list, so you might have seen some of this, but in one eye, out the other.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyways, at some point, Mystery Girl decides that Mystery Girl and Lisa get into bickering matches. And I actually saw one of these. Now, I didn't see all of them, so I can't speak for whether or not it was fair for Mystery Girl to ban Lisa from the chat room. But Mystery Girl perma-banned Lisa from the chat room. And there were times where Lisa come into the chat room, Mystery Girl would say something passive-aggressive. Lisa would say something to the effect of, whatever, I don't care. And Mystery Girl would continue to push back and escalate. Lisa's like, fuck you, I don't care. And so in my mind, I felt like that, yeah, Mystery Girl was being a little out of line, banning her. Now, I try to stay neutral in the whole thing because Mystery Girl likes my show and she calls in. I have no beef with Mystery Girl. Lisa calls my show. I like her. She likes me. We're talking on the phone. We're talking, getting to know each other. And Lisa wasn't asking for me to pick a side in this battle. She didn't care about any of this shit. So Reckless Radio had their short run on our station.
There it is.
And Reckless Radio was paying attention to all the stuff going on. So this becomes a topic like, what's the dude with Johnny Gators and this Lisa girl and the chat room banning? What's going on with this? And so they call in to the show. So I call in and someone picks up, the call screener picks up on the switchboard and, yeah, Johnny Gators. Oh, let me put you on hold. We'll get you through. They put me on hold. And at some point they go, hey, we got Johnny Gators on the line here. And they pick me up and they start, asking me questions. And, they're asking like, so what's the deal with like you and Lisa? You dating? I'm like, well, we're talking, but, maybe when she turns 18, if we still like each other, nothing, if anything, it's going to go slow. And they're like, well, what's the deal with like Mystery Girl and Lisa? I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on there. And there might be some jealousy going on, which is really me kind of doing Johnny Gators talk. Like, hey, look at me, radio show host person with the girls fighting over me. I didn't mean to put down anyone by saying, oh, I don't know, maybe there's some jealousy there. But it was really a throwaway line to just shrug it off. And
I'm sure the girls like that one though.
Oh, my Mystery Girl never forgave me for that. She was not my number one fan anymore after that.
Oh, I see.
And now Dune's asking in Milk Lisa. No, this was a different Lisa. This was a Lisa that was calling into the show. Sparky Wright said, girls fighting over Johnny. Hey, it kind of happened. and then one of them hated me. And then the other one decided that, well, I could keep phone dating this guy for some like long-term slow progress thing, or I could fuck this dude named Ben tonight. And so that's how I got dumped for a dude named Ben.
Nice.
Oh, God, because
you gotta,
because she was calling me her boyfriend, even though like we had no plans to meet in person or anything like that. She because she had a boyfriend when we started talking. She decided, oh, I'm bored of this boyfriend. I dumped him, so you could be my boyfriend now. I'm like, okay, whatever. Doing right again. Wow, those dang Bens. And yeah, so I might have clips of Lisa. I think I have a clip of Lisa mixing up a line. Like she was trying to say that Video Vamp makes straight men wish they were gay, but instead she says Video Vamp makes gay men wish they were straight. Somewhere I have that clip.
No.
If I could only find it. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what
Hello?
this is.
Hey, is this Lisa?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Nothing, I knew you were going to call me.
Yeah, so that's that's all we need to play of that.
Wow, good way to go.
That's on the Marantz cassette deck phone patches.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
is that on the spring the spring thing that you guys did? The spring what was it? The picnic thing?
What picnic thing?
Oh, I don't know, the one of the box sets you had. Never mind.
Anyways, Dune writes in, do you know all their real names? Oh, I know Lisa's real name, and it is Lisa. And I know her full name. I could look her up if I wanted to. I won't. So, no, don't ask. But, so where was I in this story? Yeah, so she decides that I'm her boyfriend, and I guess she's telling all her people in high school about this internet radio star that she's dating on the phone.
Oh, the internet radio star.
I don't know.
Ah,
So we're calling each other on a daily basis back and forth over the next few weeks, and then one day I come back and I find an instant message from her, and she's like, well, Ben keeps trying to ask, because then she was talking about this guy, Ben, who's hitting on her. And she's like, oh, this guy, Ben, he won't leave me alone. He keeps hitting on me. I keep telling him whatever. I got a boyfriend. He's not leaving me alone. I'm like, oh, okay. And what do I care? You know, if you're going to be with me, be with me. If you're not, you're not. Like, I'm not going to get in any kind of jealousy thing or whatever. I'm, just like, yeah, you can handle yourself. And then one day she's like, oh, Ben keeps asking me out. And I kind of want to date him. And I mean, it's not going to last. None of my relationships do. So, like, I just want to break up with you and date him for a few weeks. And then we can totally get back together.
How'd that go?
Yeah, we never got back together. But before that happened, during the period of time where we were kind of phone dating,
yeah,
we're talking one day on. I think we would talk on Skype sometimes, and sometimes had the webcams going.
Oh, that's we don't have that anymore.
Clothed Skype video call, nothing, no phone bone, just conversation. It was all innocent, all on the up and up. Dune writes in, Johnny is the only dude that hooked up long term with a listener. Yeah, and it wasn't Lisa.
No, it was not.
It was not. So anyways, we're talking on the Skype or something goes on. And at some point, the call gets dropped. And when the call gets dropped, she makes this like expression like something was wrong. And it's just the way that the camera froze when the call disconnected. But it was alarming the way how the call suddenly dropped. And she had this expression like, oh no, like something happened. So, I try to call. There's no answer. I try to call back on the Skype. No answer. I try to call her home phone. There's no answer. And so I'm like, okay, that's weird. And, oh, you know what? I'm telling this all in the wrong order. This is the problem going off of memory. Before that happened is the actual story we came here for. So Lisa was banned from the chat room by Mystery Girl. Mystery Girl hates my guts because I made a throwaway comment about there being some jealousy between them. I don't know anything about that. And then, Lisa doesn't care because it was Mystery Girl that supposedly I was like Lisa's like, I don't care about any of this. Mystery Girl's like, how dare you say I'm jealous of her? So whatever. So then I'm doing a show one day and Rico's listening to the show and it was a bad show. Gothard was out of town. I was solo. I was absolutely dying on mic. So I was in a bad mood. Any topic I tried to go into was not working. At some point, I'm like, hey, we should go see what's going on in the Sailor Moon chat room. Rico's like, no, don't send the NHB Army to another chat room. We don't want to create some kind of a war or drama here. So he's basically criticizing anything I try to do on the show. It's like, don't do that. Don't do this. And that's not normal. Usually Rico's not like dictating to me what to do or not do on my show, but Rico's kind of being a fucking pain in the ass, listening to my show, commenting on anything I say. So at some point, the topic of the chat room comes up, and I'm like, well, gee, I hope this all blows over soon. I'm sure in a week or so, Lisa will be back in the chat room. We'll all be happy again. Because I've always had that overly optimistic outlook at times, And Rico sends me a rant going, Lisa is perma-banned. She is banned by IP address. She will never go back in that chat room. So, and I don't know why Rico felt the need to do this. But also the way Rico worded it, he made it sound like he was like attacking her and was going to ban her from being able to access the NHB site and the stream, which at some point he claimed that it was ridiculous I would ever think that because it's not possible. It's totally possible. You can totally talk. I know because I've had it done to me. Not the NHB, but remember those RetroPie assholes that I called elitist pricks that then like blocked my IP address from their website
and so you went and changed your IP address and then went back in, right?
Well, you can't just change your IP address. You can do things to work around the IP address, like use a randomized browser or use a VPN.
Use a VPN.
Right. Right. So, I mean, that's how I figured out what was going on, that their site just wasn't down, that they were actually targeting me. But that's the thing. Rico basically worded this, and I was already pissed off. So I'm like, dude, you know what? This girl says she's dating me, like, and if that means something, then I should stand by my person I'm dating. And if you're all going to attack my girlfriend, then fuck you all. And I quit live on air. And then Video Vamp tried to smooth it all over and walked me into the lion's den because I quit. I disconnect. Vamp calls me up immediately and he's like, dude, what the hell, man? I'm like, dude, I'm done with them. I am done with those assholes. You know, I'm sick of this drama with the chat room shit. I'm sick of people hating on people that I'm friends with. And I'm sick of Rico's attitude. I'm just, you know, I don't need this. I didn't ask for this. Fuck them. You know, like I had fun for a few months. I did my show. I'll go find something else to fucking do. I don't need this. And Vamp's like, no, it's all a misunderstanding. No, don't worry. I'll talk to Rico. So Vamp talks to Rico. Rico, with his fingers crossed behind his back, goes, oh, yeah, sure, I'll let him back on. I just need to talk to him in the Ventrilo room.
Yeah.
Vamp calls me back. He's like, dude, it's all a misunderstanding. Rico will explain it, clear it up. All you need to do is just go in the Ventrilo room just to talk to him. Just talk. We'll get this all cleared up. I'm like, dude, I know Rico. Mind you, I'd only been on the station 3 months and I already knew Rico. And I already knew Rico's MO was not to let people back on that quit that way on stream, especially the new guy. Like I'm like, dude, Rico's not going to let me back. Rico's not interested in talking to me unless it's to, you know, fire me or yell at me. No. He swore to me. He promised me. It's all a misunderstanding. I'm like, all right, tell you what, to be fair to you, since you've been a friend of me, I'll hear him out, but I have my terms, and I'll hear his terms, and we'll go from there. Dune writes in, this was Vodka Vamp, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Vodka Vamp. Or Tecate it was also a common chug, but I think this was approaching Vodka Vamp. I think this was before he was full on Vodka Vamp. So anyways, I go into the Ventrilo room. As soon as I join the Ventrilo room, Rico blocks my microphone access, bitches me out, tells me I'll never be on NHP radio ever again. You fucked up big time, and then bans me from the Ventrilo room.
Oh, okay. That worked.
And then Vamp sends me a message that says, well, that was strange.
That was strange. Nice, Vamp.
I told you what he was going to do, and then he did it.
You know.
And then what followed was a series of emails between me and Damon where I learned how much of a fucking waffler, no backbone, spineless person Damon could be at times. And I say this with all the love in the world.
Uh-huh.
Because Damon was out of town on the weekend, so he wasn't even around when I did this thing. So he shows up on Monday and he's like, what the fuck? One of my shows quit? What the hell? And so, but before that discussion happened, I had the call with Lisa. Lisa's connection drops. She has the shocked look on her face, and all of a sudden I can't get a hold of her. And then I get a strange phone call. Like, my phone rings, I pick it up. I'm like, hello? And the guy's like, who the hell is this? I'm like, I don't know. Who's this?
Oh, she was seeing someone from high school, I bet, huh?
Well, no, here's the keep in mind. This girl.
Is Lisa a playa?
Well, no. Here's where my mind went, because there's nothing like a upset mind to fill in blanks and create a fancy tale.
Of course.
Because keep in mind, I'm a bit nervous about the fact that I'm a guy in his mid-20s that's got a high school senior 17-year-old calling herself.
Oh,
his
you thought it was a
girlfriend.
parent or a cop, huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought like her dad found out what's going on, that she's talking to some 20-something-year-old, yanked the network cord out of her computer, got my number from the phone bill and was calling me up to grill me. Who the fuck are you? But, and no, it did not sound like Chris Hansen. But he did not ask me to have a seat right there. I said I do better than to drive out to New Hampshire and
Go visit.
sit down for a friendly little chat. Hey, mind if I eat some pizza? Oh, God.
Oh, you could have.
No, I couldn't have. But anyways, not until she turned 18 at the very least.
Dang. I see.
But even then, one could argue I was grooming a 17-year-old, and then so even so, it's
Dude,
a
she's
bad.
the one that started that. I don't know if it's considered you grooming, is it?
Well, I'm the older one. I should know better than to pursue
Well,
that kind of a friendship
That
with
is
a
true.
high school
That
senior.
is very true. That is very true. But-
Mind you, I will say 17-year-old that you're talking to on the phone and you set a clear boundary of we're not meeting in person until you're 18 is to the lighter shade of gray. But I was still I still see it as being in a gray area that I really didn't want to even
I completely understand
that people
I
should
understand
not flirt with. I would strongly advise against doing what
don't
I
do it,
did.
guys. Don't do that.
Don't it there's no way it's going to work out. So why even waste the time? So anyways, this was like 20ish years ago. So yeah, she's in her 30s now.
She probably has, is married, maybe even for the second time with 12 kids.
Yeah, well, she has at least one kid, because Ben got her pregnant.
Well, big surprise.
But anyways, the point is that I quit my show, so I've now lost this thing that I invested this hobby that I invested some time in, and I'm just trying to be like, whatever. I had a good run, and then Lisa's call disconnects, and I start thinking like, oh my God, I've been found out, and her parents are pissed because I thought
I've
maybe
been found out's the first thing you think, huh?
Well. Keep in mind, she looked surprised when it went, and then this weird call comes in asking me who the fuck I am. So I'm like, that's what made me think like, either it's some weird wrong number crossed wire situation, or it's like a family member of hers trying to figure out who this guy they're perceiving as a predator is.
So a guy calls you and says, who the fuck are you? You say, well, who the fuck are you?
And that's pretty much was the extent of the conversation, and I hung up. But it still made me nervous that there could have been something
What's the guy
going.
going to do? Call the cops?
Maybe.
I don't know.
What could he do? What is he going to call the cops? Oh, this guy talked to my daughter.
That's
And the
yeah.
cops would say, and then what?
well. Here's the thing. I was pretty sure I didn't do anything illegal, but that doesn't mean that people can't bring drama into your life and
Very
create
true.
trouble for you.
And here it is 20 years later, and it's still drama.
Well, exactly. So, but anyways, it turns out it was just crossed wires. It was nothing.
Sure?
Yeah, because then because while that's happening, and she was pissed at me for quitting the way I did, because I told her, look, they were giving you crap. I'm not going to stand for that if you're going to be my girlfriend. So I quit and stormed off the show day. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so mad at you. Why would you do that for me? Why would you do that for me? I don't want that. So she
I don't
was.
want that. I'm screwing Ben, though. It's fine.
Well, that screwing Ben came a bit later. Maybe that was the beginning of the end. Because then, we had a good chat. And then also, so her internet comes back. She's like, oh, no, before her internet came back. So now I'm freaking out over two things. One, I've lost my show and been cussed out by Rico. Two, I don't know what happened to Lisa's connection. And three, this weird phone call from someone might be someone that's looking to create trouble for me. So I'm like, oh my God, it's all falling apart. And then someone that was a listener fan of the station that was friends with people messages me, and he's like, dude, what are you gonna do? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, your show. I'm like, I don't know, I had a good run. And he's like, oh man, you should take your show to DEF CON. I still want to listen to you. And I'm like, I don't want to get involved in that shit. I don't want to deal with that.
Civ.
Dude writing in, yo, Johnny, stand by for a video on Messenger. I knew I grabbed it for a reason. So anyways, this listener, and I forget who he was, but he was someone that was a common write-in name at the time. And he was the guy that ran the NHB fan site that hosted podcasts for our shows. And then he... Yeah. So he puts me in touch with Mark the DJ and says, dude, take your show to DEF CON. I like your show. I want you to keep doing your show. And so I decided, you know what? Fuck the NHB DEF CON drama. Fuck this shit. And clearly, Rico's made it very clear I'll never do a show over there anymore. And if anything, if the listeners are asking me to still do a show, I'll still do it for them. And at least this solves one of my problems. Although it didn't solve the webcam problem. It really didn't solve the webcam problem. But it solved the not having a show at NHB anymore problem. So he puts me in touch with Mark the DJ. I call up Mark the DJ, explain to him the whole story that I've run down to you so far. And Mark asks me point blank, is this for real? Or is this some kind of prank you're trying to pull on me? And I'm like, no prank. I don't care about that station drama crap. Whatever. That's what really, he's like, oh my God, that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. We don't have anything like that over here. You pay your monthly fee, you connect, do your show, and when you're done, you disconnect, and that's it. That's all we do here. There's no drama, no requirements, no whatever. Just, pay your monthly fee. And that's the thing. DEF CON had a monthly fee that you had to chip in. NHB was running off the fees from the telethons. So that was the only real downside of DEF CON. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll take my show over to DEF CON. So I send them my show logo. In fact, that was when I revamped the show logo and sent it over. And they put me up on the site. And I'm like, well, one of my problems is solved. Which, in hindsight, I probably should have held off on that and given it some time before immediately going to the competitor. But then again, Rico did piss me off and curse me out and tell me I would never do a show at NHB ever again. So anyways, Damon comes back on Monday and is like, what the fuck happened while I was away for the weekend? I come back and everyone's up in arms because now the staff is up in arms over the chat room drama resulting in a show quitting, which was a drama that was brewing to begin with. Now, I don't know what actually happened about the chat room stuff after that because I only got bits and pieces from Vamp. And the way Vamp put it was, oh no, we talked it out. We're all really pulling together. We're all pulling together now. We've solved it all. We talked it out. We're pulling together. Of course, this is the same dude that told me, no, man, it's all misunderstanding. He really just wants to talk to you and let you back on the station. But anyways, so Damon comes back and is kind of emailing me like, what the hell, man? Could you talk to me before you go to another station? And I told him what happened with Rico. And Damon kind of said, okay, man. Well, and I kind of kept it a very professional, friendly tone. Like, hey, Damon, I got no problem with you. I got problems with the way Rico ran the station there. And I walked off as a result. And Rico's, made it clear he doesn't want me back. And so I had an opportunity to go to DEF CON. The listeners asked me to do it. I'm really just doing that for the listeners, And Damon goes, oh, well, you should have come to me first. And,
you weren't here, David. I'm sorry. You're gone.
I could have given it a few days and come to him first. But
yeah, but that's no fun.
And so we kept it very respectful and friendly. And so, I said, well, I'm on DEF CON site now. I'll give this a run now. I'll give this a try. But maybe down the road, if things are different, maybe. And he goes, okay, yeah, well, hey, if you ever want to come back to NHB, just let me know. We can work something out.
It's for the children.
That is what Damon literally said. Damon literally said, hey, if you ever change your mind, you want to come back to NHB, let me know.
Okay.
And so at that point, I'm thinking to myself, this is stupid. This is stupid. I got angry, quit a show in a rage, and now I'm on another network, even though I really did this show to be on NHB, and that's where all the people who know my show are. And the owner of the network has said I can come back if I want to come back.
Well, when Yaman said that, did you say, well, is Rico going to stop being a little whatever and actually, like, behave himself, or...
Well, the thing is that if Damon lets me back on, that shows me that Damon outranks Rico. The problem is that Damon doesn't really outrank Rico. He only theoretically outranks Rico. Because I go back to Damon and I say, you know what? I'm going to think about this. This is all stupid. If you're really honest about letting me back on the station, I think we should call this whole DEF CON thing off. And I just come back and we just try to, this is where my show really belongs. And Damon's like, but you pissed off my server guy, and you're on their website, and this and that. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll stick with DEF CON for now. Maybe we can revisit this in the future. Okay, yeah, best of luck to you. But hey, if you ever want to come back to NHP, just let me know.
Dude, stop saying that. Dude, Damon, what the hell?
And so I literally wrote back and said, if you're serious about that, I would like to but you're on their website, and and that was my first hint that
right.
Damon could be a bit spineless at times.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? Spineless is harsh. That's not fair. I guess what I should say is wishy-washy. And mind you, I myself can be wishy-washy at times, where I could see things from both sides and keep flipping back and forth between them. So I can kind of see where Damon really feels like, well, you're not going to come back now, but I'm open to you being back on in the future. And I'll sum that up by saying, hey, let me know if you want to come back on. We'll work something out. And then when it's like, well, yeah, how about right now? It's like, no, but there's drama and all this shit I'd have to deal with to make that happen. I don't want to do that. So, I mean, I don't really hold that against Damon. I just think he could have communicated it better.
Yeah.
But, water over the bridge.
I mean, just think about Gators.
Yeah.
You might own the house, but you can't get inside without the keys. So Damon owns the house, but Rico had the keys.
Yeah, and that was why I was against Rico taking over more as time went on, because Damon was very frustrated about many things about how the station was run. But even if the whole staff wanted to do the things that Damon wanted to happen, it was impossible because only Rico had access to anything. And Damon
shouldn't happen. You should. Everybody else should have some sort of access to the servers, or there should be at least a secondary.
And Damon refused to do anything to give himself access to his own station, and was basically at Rico's mercy. That's but Damon didn't see it as a problem. He saw everything else as a problem, whereas I saw a big part of his problem being his reliance on Rico, to the point that he had no option to overrule him, because if he ever tried to overrule him, Rico was the type with the temper that could say, well, fuck you, I'll just shut it all off and good luck turning it back on. But, to Damon's credit, he navigated keeping the station on with all that drama for the years that he did keep it on.
Yeah.
And yes, it was...
You guys were running it for how many years after the fact,
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that it didn't completely crash and burn with all the differences of opinions and tempers that existed there suggests that some people there were doing some things right. But that's my optimistic spin I'm trying to put on there after trash talking people. Really, I'm not bitter, but Dune sent me a video that I'm supposed to play now. So let me if I click that there, it's going to open up an Edge, and fuck Edge. No one likes Edge. Microsoft, give it up with the Edge.
I use Edge once in a great while when I have to.
Well, if you use the Facebook Messenger client and you click a link, it doesn't matter what your default browser's set to.
I don't use the client. I don't use Facebook Messenger client. I probably shouldn't.
So I have to open up Facebook in the website to open up Messenger from there, so I can click a link and it opens up in the browser I want to use. Because if I click a link in the client, it opens up Edge, even though nowhere is Edge set as all right, so now I got to figure out how to cue this up to the beginning and turn sound on, and we'll come over here and share the window. No, really, it was for the children. Come on, Dune, it was for the children. And speaking of for the children, I don't know what this is. Anyone seen Dave and Dawn as the caption on this? All right, let's check this out.
Dave Elvey, I'm 20 years old. I'm ready to rock.
Dawn, 13.
Who are you here to see tonight? Judas Priest!
Okay.
Dave Elvey, I'm 20 years old. I'm ready to rock.
Dawn, 13.
Who are you here to see tonight? Judas Priest!
Oh, Judas Priest.
Yeah.
I was like, what did they say?
Dave Elvey, I'm 20 years.
Yeah, and what's great, after they sell their ages and kiss, it cuts to the guy who's watching this doing the finger counting. Is
It's like 13. No, run away. That's when.
Hey, Jerry Lee Lewis married a woman that was a girl that was 13, right?
It's
It was
Rock the Great, O'Brien.
it was
And then he wasn't allowed when he was trying to tour in Paris.
it was a
He
different
wasn't allowed into.
time.
Yeah.
I don't care what time it was. You
No,
don't do
it was
13.
a lot of wrong stuff happened that people turned a blind eyes to that they ought not to have.
Depressing.
Yeah. So yeah, that was not me.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Gators, I have a question for you. Speaking
Okay.
of age differences, I saw on the Twitter that you have a new code to type in on a 12-digit code you have to type in now.
I do?
Yeah, you were very angry about it.
Oh.
Oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah, that would make my yeah.
Well,
I agree.
here's the thing. I've been periodically having a dry cough.
Okay,
And
that's good.
I
Well, not good, but you're
and
checking.
I'm not sure why I'm having this dry cough periodically, to the point where sometimes it comes when I'm trying to sleep. So lately, my nightly routine involves, go downstairs, brush my teeth, put distilled water in the tank for the CPAP machine, wipe down the mouth face thing on that.
Do you have the full face or just the one over the nose?
Over the mouth. I'm a mouth breather.
Okay.
I go upstairs, and I pop a cough drop in my mouth, a fisherman's friend cough drop in my mouth before putting on the face CPAP machine, so I get a bit of that menthol, keeping the dry cough from coming long enough for me to fall asleep
Gators,
with
what
a.
flavor?
It's fisherman's friend. They only come in one flavor.
No, they come in multiple flavors.
Original.
Those are disgusting.
They're not extra crispy.
No, those are disgusting. They have.
Oh, I love them. It's got everything I need.
Oh, they have
Nothing
like
extra.
I think they have a cherry one or a strawberry one.
Oh no, these are just pure menthol in
Okay.
yeah. No, they're great. They clear you right out. So
5 cloves of garlic.
So I'm wondering, like, why am I having this lingering dry cough periodically that's going on? It's kind of annoying. And so I asked AI for reasons one might have a dry cough. And it gives me a disclaimer that it's not a doctor, and if there's something medical going on, I should consult a physician, and then gives me a list of theories. And some blood pressure medications can cause dry cough as a side effect.
What are you taking?
It says something on the bottle, but I don't remember off the top of my head. It's
Actually, I had that same problem with the blood pressure medication, so I told my doctor, and he changed it.
and I might do that, and I'll probably bring it up on my next visit.
In fact, permanently on my record, it says I have an allergy to that, and that's fairly common.
So,
In fact, my nephew was bitching about the same thing. I said, "Tell your doctor, get a different one. It's simple."
So my next visit, I'll bring it up. But I figure I also ought to consider, because I've actually gone back and forth with this medication, because I was on it for a period of time and then it ran out and didn't get renewed. And then my blood pressure was up again. And then the doctor scheduled a visit for me to come in again in 30 days to check it. And I came in 30 days and I thought he was going to prescribe the medication. But I come in and he goes, no, it's back down. You're fine. You don't need medication. And then sometime later, it's like, oh, no, it's back up. You need the medication. So my thought is maybe I could have them change it, but maybe I could actually get off of it. And so that's when it's like, well, if I'm going to try to keep my options open and think about dietary things and try to get off of it, I'm going to need to track it. So I bought I went on Amazon and looked up a, blood pressure measuring device that gets good reviews and is not overly expensive, and used some money from my health savings account and bought it. And that way I could keep track of my blood pressure better.
Perfect idea.
And that way, we could change medications, continue tracing it, or see if I can get off the medication, if I can get it low enough, whatever. So that is what I did. And so now in the past, I had one of these, but it stopped working. And that was many years ago. And so this is cuff. It goes around the forearm. And so the one, so I originally had mine with, I use it, I notate it down, and I have my notes referred to. Well, nowadays everything comes Bluetooth with an app. And so now this thing's Bluetooth with an app. Great. But you have to sign up for an account and set a password. Okay. Well, usually I like to set passwords on my computer, because that way I can use my password manager to create a randomized password and save it in the password manager. And then I can use the password manager to paste it into the app. This fucking thing wants me to set up the password in the app using the dinky little keyboard without access to anything to randomly generate anything and automatically save it. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'll give it, I have a few different password formats I use if I need to create one myself. So I have one of my passwords, and mind you, this ain't tied to my banking. This ain't tied to, maybe being tied to some medical information is the type of thing that you don't necessarily want to, publish to the world. Yeah. But I don't think anyone's trying really hard to hack my blood pressure readings. I really don't think so.
I'm hacking his blood pressures. Let's go.
So I'm like, take my standard 8-digit password that I have ready to go, pop it in there just to get this thing activated, and I'm good to go. No, it needs a 12-digit password. I have no idea what I set that password to.
Digits?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
So, they all I want to do is measure my blood pressure and track it. They give me this thing. They make me install an app. They make me see a QR code that doesn't install the app. I have to search for the app. I have to install the app. Now the app wants a password. It's not letting me generate it with my password manager. It's not letting me set it up through their website to create an account that way. It won't take my standard password. I got to create a 12-digit password. And I'm just like, fuck, Jesus fucking rocket fuck. By the time I get this set up, my blood pressure's going to be through the fucking roof.
Oh, shit.
I saw that. I was like, oh my God, poor gators.
So I had to tweet that.
My blood pressure would be high too, dude. Don't put that one on the side. That would be normal.
Yeah. So I had to give it a few hours after I set that up before using it the first time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, do you use the same password manager? I mean, on Windows as you do on your phone. I mean, do you have one pass and do it on both so they share?
I use something that syncs up between my browser and my phone.
I've been looking for a good one. I can't decide which one. I'm looking at LastPass, but I don't know if I use that or OnePass or.
Well, here's the problem. I'm really reaching a point where I don't care about every security alert because I have to function. And if a security alert telling me don't do something isn't providing me with a workable alternative, I'm sorry. I got to make this fucking work. So I am using the password manager of Brave, and I've set it to sync between my different devices. Now, Brave warns against doing this. Brave would rather people do not use their password manager to sync between their devices. Mm-hmm. I guess there's some reason that it's not as... Now, mind you, Brave promotes being very secure and protective of things. So I feel like that they're very cautious about what their recommendations are.
Either that they can sell you stuff better if you do it their way.
Well, they're not providing me another. Basically, they're saying don't use our thing this way. They're not telling me to do something different with their thing. They're telling me basically
their security.
Basically, I think Brave recommends against using their password manager to sync between different devices. But I'm using Brave to generate random complex passwords that I can't easily type. It only works because it autofills. So if I don't sync that up with my phone, I can't type in any of my passwords on my phone easily. And anytime anything on my phone has to be a password, it would become an ordeal. So the only way I can function is if I let Brave sync my passwords to Brave on my phone. That's the only way I can function. So I don't know if I'd recommend that because Brave doesn't recommend it, but it's what I'm doing and it's what works for me.
Hey, it works
Yay!
Yeah. Honestly, if it works for you, go for it. You know?
And the way I see it, yeah, there are paid services you can use like 1Password or things like that. But if any of them ever get hacked, and there's supposed reasons why, it's encrypted, it can't be hacked unless you're socially engineered into giving them someone your password, which I know someone that had that happen to them, that they had set up they set up 1Password. They set up all their banking information in 1Password. They got socially engineered into entering their password, and man, has that been a nightmare for them.
Yeah.
And everybody will know your blood pressure.
Well, yeah.
Damn it! I'm gonna have to change my password now.
Or change your blood pressure with it too.
Sparky figured it out.
No.
You know what? That does not surprise me.
Sparky.
Yeah. Sparky, ready to get. Johnny uses fruitcake as random passwords. Capital F, lowercase R, uppercase U, the number 1, lowercase T, capital C.
Oh,
He got it exactly.
Speak of fruitcake.
He got it exactly.
You know what you could do? Change it to dipshit.
I mean, you could, but
You
Wait a
know,
minute, that's not enough characters.
you know what's funny about passwords? There are unwritten rules. One day I get a call from someone that he needs to reset it and set a new password. And so I tell him what all the requirements are. And I tell him, at that time it had to be at least 8 characters. Now it's got to be at least 14 in our environment, which is fucking brutal.
dude, why? And let me guess. 14 characters, but you have to change it every once a month or every 30 days.
No. It used to be every 90 days, but when they extended it to 14 characters, they reduced it to changing it once a year in exchange for going to the 14
You know what?
character.
I'll take that, but it's still annoying.
Yeah.
When I started at Tharco, I set up my password. I don't think there were any rules at all. I set up my password as new guy, which is only 6 characters, right?
Right.
It wasn't until like 5 years later where they required it to be longer and needed to be changed. So I think at first I would go, okay, new guy 01, right?
Well, I remember this.
And then I would change it to 02, et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
And then I got away from that. I wasn't the new guy anymore. I was the old guy.
Well, when I was working there, everyone in IT knew that Bo's password was Tharco with a number at the end of it. And I think and it was one of these things where he needed something fixed on his computer, he wanted us to fix it while he worked. He didn't want, so it was one of these things where what was it, his assistant, what was her name, Debbie Rose? Debbie Rose, right?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, like I come in, she'd be like, the laptop's there, the password's on the post-it or something like that. So there are times I come in, I go, is it still 6 or is he on 7 now? Yes.
You know, it's funny as hell.
So
Yeah.
The IT director before you were there, he had a sticker on his monitor that had the password to get into SAP support page, and the auditors saw that and they wrote him up on it.
Oh, nice.
Look, nobody's going to care about that password.
Well, I remember what SAP had ignored all characters beyond 8 characters in the password, right?
Oh, that can be annoying because if you put in the extra digits and they're ignored, you change your password and it doesn't like it because it's more than,
Right, because you only changed the end. Because I think
Right.
there was a password that was supposed to be fish tank, but it ended up being fish tan.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
I
That was funny. Was that the archive login or something like that?
I don't know. Because that was not anything I ever used. I
Hilarious.
only ever heard about it, about the
Yeah.
fish tan password. But
Fish
but the
tan.
thing is that it would accept.
We like
char-
to tan our fish.
Yes, but
Shoot.
but at some point we put the requirement for 8 characters in, and we put that requirement in on SAP, and then at some point something broke in SAP that if you set a password for longer than 8 characters, it wouldn't ignore them, but it wouldn't accept them either, and so people wouldn't be able to sign in an SAP after setting their password to something longer than 8 characters. And so there was actually a period of time that the rule for SAP was you must select a password that is exactly 8 characters, no more, no less. I think they later a patch came through that fixed the longer than 8 character rule. But even then you were setting it to only 8 because it was ignoring anything beyond that. Yeah, so anyways, that was my fun blood pressure adventure. So I have
I would hate that. I
yeah.
would definitely hate that. Be like, not happening.
Well, whatever. It's fine until the app requires me to sign back in at
Then
some
you'd be
point.
like, crap, what did I
And then
set
I'll have
that
to set a new password again.
Or you'll have to go into your notepad look or your sticky
Yeah.
note for Windows.
So Sparky writes in, I do the same thing. Since every 3 months we need to change out password at work, I just start using a word long enough to fulfill the length requirement and use a number at the end. Then in 3 months, I just increase the number by 1. It makes it so easy to remember your password changes. Yeah. Oh, that's a common trick. It's frowned upon, but fuck, what are you gonna do? And that's the thing. I think that the person that came up with the standard password rule of mixture of uppercase, lowercase, number, non-alphanumeric, 8 character regrets ever suggesting that maybe if we just set long passphrases that are made up of multiple words and just keep them all lowercase, that would be adequate.
Passphrase is better than password, honestly.
Right.
Just to say.
But our place, we require 14 characters, and we do require the uppercase, lowercase number, non-alphanumeric. And also we have the rules in that you can't have 3 or more repeating characters, and you can't have 3 or more consecutive characters or numbers.
Yeah, I know sites like do that.
But there's no rule against doing consecutive shift numbers.
Oh, okay.
Because so yeah, if you want to just like hold down the shift key and type 3 or 4 numbers in a row to pad out a password, that's how you get around that rule. I'm not saying I do that, but I have done that. But here's the unwritten rule that you really shouldn't have to write, but one day it happened. So I'm on the phone with someone, and I reset the password, but because of the way our password... Also, another rule we have in our environment is that a user can only change their password once in a 24-hour period.
That is an annoying rule.
Right. Well, that's to prevent someone... If the rule is you can't use your last 8 passwords, and you can change your password as many times as you want to, you just change it 8 times, and then you go back to what it originally was. So that's where you...
Think about that.
I can see a limit. I can see a limit of 3
That's ingenious.
And I agree.
or even 5.
Right.
But only once in 24 hours is absurd.
And I've asked for some easement on that. Could we make it 2 or 3 a day? But they won't give me that. Because here's what's annoying. What's annoying is if I set someone on a temp password so that I can set up a new laptop, and then I give them their new laptop and I tell them to change their password, that's a second password change in a day, and it will deny it, and it will say it does not meet the complexity requirements or rules. And it doesn't tell you it's because you're trying to do it more than once a day. So multiple times I have banged my head with an end user on a brick wall trying to help this end user figure out why the password they're setting isn't being accepted because of the complexity rules, only to find out, oh, that's right, I can only do it once a day. Which the only way to bypass that rule is to set their password to require a change on the next login, because that overrides that rule. So that way they put in the temp password and it prompts them, you must pick a new one now. Here you go. So there's that unwritten rule. So I reset someone's password, and it's not accepting anything that they're setting, and I know it's not the 24-hour rule. And he's like, what's all the rules? I'm like, 8 characters, mixture of uppercase, lowercase, at least one number, at least one non-alphanumeric character. He's like, okay, I'm doing all that. It can't be any of your last 8 passwords. It's not. I picked something completely different from anything I picked before. And I can't ask him what is it so I can verify it, because then if he tells me, he can't use it.
You can use it if he tells you, can't he?
Well, it turns out he was trying to set his password to be a complex version of the word password. Like, you know, capital P, @ S5, W0, all lowercase r, capital D, or something like that. And so at some point he asked me, is there a rule against using the word password as your password? And I'm like, yeah, I think there is. That's not come up before. So, like, technically I didn't give him all the rules, and technically he was following all the rules I gave him. And, yeah. So there is that unwritten rule that some systems will block you from using the word password as your password, even if you complex it up to meet the requirements. Mind you, here's a funny thing. I'm not saying Addie's an idiot.
What? Where that? Okay.
Actually, I am saying Addie's an idiot. So Addie's an idiot for many reasons. Here's one of them. One day, for some reason, like my login wasn't working or something like that, and I think Addie's like, oh, here, use mine. My password is password, all lowercase. Oh. And I'm like, Addie, why the hell did you set your password to password? He's like, well, think about it. That'd be stupid. Who would ever guess that?
Me?
Well, and at the time I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Because I'm a logical person. I would never try to type in the word password to hack into someone's system. I would think that the word password would be the last thing someone would choose because of how stupid it is. So it's one of those things where Addie's making the argument, it's so stupid, it's ingenious. Okay, maybe there's something there. Maybe that's a theory. I don't care enough to think much further about that. Some years later, you know, every year they like publish like the most used passwords as like a public service. So like, hey, if you're using one of these 5 passwords, you need to knock that off. Multiple years in a row, number 1 most used password is the word password. Yeah. So no, Addie, that's not the last thing anyone would think to use. It's the first thing everyone thinks to use.
Exactly.
And
now, see, Gators, you could have used this to your advantage. I'll tell you why.
What's that?
You could have used this to your advantage, and there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
Look at all the AOL Instant Messenger names he had. You know all the passwords were probably password on each one of those.
Oh my God. If only I could go back in time and try that.
Because you know that's what they all were.
Sparky writes in, wait, is Addie in the IT department? Addie's a programmer.
Yeah, he's a programmer.
Not all programmers are tech savvy, though.
Addie knew enough to be dangerous.
There are some programmers that they really approach programming as a strict trade. But if they need a new printer for their home, they're bringing their friend in IT with them to go shopping with them.
And I've done that.
Yes, you have.
Other programmers.
Brian is the tech savvy programmer. Nick is the I learned a trade in school programmer.
Well, you know why? You know the reason why.
Okay.
You know, he in school he studied programming.
Right.
And then got a programming job on mainframes.
Right.
And they don't learn all of the details.
Nope.
I got a job doing PCs, and we didn't even have a tech support group. The programmer was called to do that.
Right. Well, you
also PCs were my hobby from
right.
hell before there were PCs. I had a
My
TRS-80.
Tandy 1000 needed assistance. I know who to talk to.
There's two types of programmers. There are programmers that get into programming because they're a computer geek and they like geeking off on computers, and that's a way to do it and make a living. And there are programmers that learn a trade and learn how to code, but they're not particularly interested in geeking out on the tech. So yeah, you're the geeky PC programmer. Nick was the I learned to trade in school programmer.
I'm doing it to make money. Well, I like making money too, but
yeah.
So Brian, you like this? This is kind of an off topic, but the Tandy 1000. My mom had a Tandy 1000. You remember those, right? They're like she had the one that had the floppy disk that had the Deskmate software on it.
Yeah.
That thing. My mom loved that software. She loved it. She goes, everything was in it. That was her thing. Her thing. I put in Carmen San Diego and play video games. I didn't care. You know. She got a new computer that had Windows 3.1. And she's like, she got one that had Windows 3.1 for workers. And she goes, where's my Deskmate? Can you put that on here? And I'm like, I don't think this will work on here. So I tried to boot it up, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom, it's not working. She was like, well, how am I getting all my stuff? I'm like, I don't know. So she printed everything out on that little printer that came with the little dot matrix printer that came with the Tandy 1000. Yeah. That's a picture, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. We never found it. I never looked for the Deskmate software again. I'm just like, I don't care. My mom learned, but
so I need to clarify to Sparky who Addy is. Addy is a former host of a show on NHB, and the password he was sharing with me was a password to kick the streams.
Warhawk knows him.
This was not a work password or a work system thing. So no, that's this has nothing to do with my work environment. I would not insult a coworker to this level on my show. I'd only imply it slightly at times. But yeah, Addy is a dumbass that used to do a show on NHB and is permanently blocked from ever contacting me again.
Whoa, on that account.
On everything.
With
I
that
blocked
account,
his.
they
I had to
use
block
this.
his number on my phone from texting me.
You can just get another number.
Yeah, he can.
He can
I know.
spoof it probably.
Yeah, well, he hasn't so far, so we'll see how long this
Maybe
goes.
he hasn't thought about it, Addy.
Every now and then he tries to reach out to me again. I think I got him blocked everywhere.
Okay.
No, he's the problem is I really don't have room for the
Addy in your life.
The bigoted views that he holds.
Yeah, pretty
Is
much.
is he the guy that wanted you to delete all of his radio files?
Radio files.
His
No.
show files?
Oh no, that's
that
Genocide Rob.
Oh, Genocide Rob.
Genocide Rob's my friend from since I was in 6th grade. Addy
Right.
was one of the co-hosts on the Addy and Gabe show. Yeah, no, totally different. They'd probably get along though. Come to think of it.
Maybe.
Well, the thing about I don't know. You know, we are who we are from our past and our background, and we're shaped in ways we are. And like Genocide Rob, I really wouldn't mind reestablishing contact with him someday for the years of friendship and being there for each other that we had. To me, it's kind of sad that I reached a point that I didn't care about that at a point because of how angry he made me and how angry we got at each other towards the end of our friendship there. But I mean, he had a rough childhood. You know what? It's not cool for me to go into people's personal details, so I won't elaborate on that. But I'll just say he, as a result of his upbringing that I know a little bit about, he kind of had this I take shit from no one attitude. And, you know, maybe he took it a little too far, but that didn't come from nowhere, and that made sense to him. So, you know, I had a little patience with that for a period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've grown, Gators. You've got a life. And,
But see, here's the thing, though. I can't say I don't know anybody that doesn't share shit with friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I give you shit all the time.
Oh yeah.
I don't give shit to Mars because I actually respect him.
Well,
no, that was joking.
When I say I take shit from no one, I don't mean friendship bantering. Oh, we tease the hell out of each other. We gave each other that type of shit. What I mean is like along the lines of, so Genocide Rob worked at Walmart, was working at Walmart when I got a job there. And so we worked together briefly.
Did he recommend you?
No, and I didn't ask him to. I was better off.
Probably good.
Well, because, you know, when he was kind of trying to like teach me the ropes or fill me in on what he knew and how he approached a job, you know, like he's like, dude, you gotta be careful around the members of management, man. You know, if they ask you to do something, you gotta push back. You know, you can't.
Oh, is that how that goes?
Right. You know, so that's what I mean. Like he took crap from no one. He felt that, you know, if you don't push back on management, they'll push you around and they'll take advantage of you. You got to stand up to management. And
Gators, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have no question. How long did Genocide Rob work at that Walmart while you were there?
Well, he transferred out of that Walmart to another Walmart.
Really? I wonder why.
Well, no, because, well,
Did he push back and they said, we're pushing back harder?
I mean, and the thing is, he never pushed too hard, but, you know, here's the issue. Sometimes employees in the department would prefer to work the job that they're familiar with and that they know, and because familiarity makes things easier on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if you throw me in the electronics department, I know how to sell a DVD player. I know how to answer questions about connecting a DVD player to a TV to a senior citizen. And I know how to make people happy there. But sometimes a member of management that's responsible for a section of the store has someone that calls out sick or someone that goes home early, and now the department with the sheets and bedding is completely unattended and is completely a mess. And so, hey, Johnny over here in electronics, I need you to go work bedding the rest of the evening. And that would piss us off when we get pulled off of our department, because now I go into bedding and I got to put go backs on the shelves, and I don't know where any of this shit goes. I don't know the layout of this department, so I'm going to be here forever to get any semblance. You know, it makes it into a very difficult and not fun evening. And then customers are coming up asking where this is, where that is, and I'm like, sure, I can help you find that. Let's walk up and down the aisles aimlessly because I have no fucking clue, but I'll help you with a smile, you know. So yeah, that really happened to me. I had to work bedding one evening, but I didn't put, so that's where Rob's attitude was. I was hired to work electronics. If you're going to try to throw me into something that's not my job description, I'm going to push back on you on that. I'm going to complain about that. And he'd only push so far and stop short of getting himself fired. But and I think as a result, people who were more difficult about things, and you know, so if a manager came to the department and they see me and they see Genocide Rob and they know that I am willing to help them out and do what they ask me to do, and they know that he's going to give them crap, they're more likely like, oh, I just don't feel like dealing with it. Hey, Johnny, can you go help out in betting tonight?
Exactly.
And that was, so Rob had a point, but he also wasn't going to get ahead doing that.
You know what? It's good to go
Exactly.
like, work in different areas, especially in a Walmart. You get to know other people, get to see the different environment.
Well,
I know you're comfortable in one area, but you know,
Yeah.
maybe you'll sell some silk sheets or something while you're over at the betting. You don't know.
so that's what I kind of say when Rob really had this personality of don't let people take advantage of you. Don't don't take their shit. You got to stand up.
But
And
you
it's good.
can't say that when you first start working, though.
It's good to stand up for yourself, and and I'm not saying that management's always right and you should bow down to everything they say, but I Rob's balance was a bit different from my balance on that issue. Now, to answer your question, how long did he work there? I don't know how long he was working there before I started, but shortly after I started, he moved in with his girlfriend in another part of the state. And so he transferred to the Walmart in that town. And generally, if you applied to Walmart in a different town as a transfer, and the store you transferred out of didn't have anything bad to say about you, it was pretty easy to get the transfer through, and they'd find some place to
got a
put
new
you.
start, which is good. So they can push back at other people.
Problem is, he was a new guy, so they kept throwing him on register, and he didn't want to be on register, and so he got fed up with and the other thing is that the chain of command was structured a little differently there, and that's it's something that he spoke about that bothered him. So when it comes to the front end, there's a member of management that's responsible for the front end, but you also have these like sub managers. These, you know how you'd have like the podium that was near the front end, and you'd have someone wearing a red vest at Walmart there that's standing there. Like the red vest, you knew they were like the super cashiers. They were called CSMs. I think that's for customer service managers or something like that. So they were like cashiers with certain management responsibilities, but not like a store assistant manager. And apparently at the Walmart that Rob was transferred to, the CSMs there had more authority than he was used to at the store we were working at. So when the CSM is telling him, hey, I need you to work the front line, help you, because that was another thing, is if the store got busy and the lines are getting long, they'd start pulling people out of departments to run a register to get the lines down. And so the CSMs were given authority to pull people out of departments to go run a register. And Genocide Rob was not having that shit. He's like, who the fuck are you to tell me to run a register? You're just a CSM. Well, that's how it works at this store. And he's
Right.
like, and so he's like, fuck this. You pull me on register? I'm trying to work here. And so he got so fed up with this culture of CSMs being able to call on people to run registers to get the fucking lines down that he walked off the job. He walked out, quit on the spot, walked.
Oh. Okay.
Well, and then he went and he started applying for different jobs around the area, and he might have found something else. But but then he got himself into a bind. He got his license ended up suspended for a period of time.
Okay.
Which resulted in him being unable to provide contributing to rent for the apartment they were staying at with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so he had to move back in with his grandparents and get a job within walking distance or bicycle distance to get himself back on his feet and get through his suspended period. And what happened was he was having money issues, and so he was late renewing his insurance and got caught driving without insurance.
He could have gone back to Walmart.
Well, that's what he did. He came back home, and he came back to our Walmart. The problem was he walked off the job at the last Walmart he was at. So when you walk into to our Walmart and you check back on, the Walmart you transferred to, that you quit not on good terms, the store manager sat down with them and said, well, obviously you're going to have to give me a pretty good reason to have quit your last Walmart job before I can hire you back. And he's like, well, I couldn't handle it. They pissed me off. It's like, Robert, you're going to have to give me something better than that. And they did hire him back. They did hire him back. I don't know.
Did.
Yeah.
Did they put him on cashier? Because that would have been hilarious.
They put him in the garden center.
Dude, that's the easy part. Why'd you put him in garden? They sat there and do nothing until people buy stuff. They have to pick up. Well, they do have to pick up big pots and stuff. So that's fine, but still.
So I'll just tell the rest of the story, and then we'll find someone to raid. Because I do realize we've gone over. So somehow he talked his way into being hired back. So even though he walked off the last job, and that should like blackball him, he, I guess, had good enough terms from his history at the store that they were willing to give him another chance. But I think they kind of told him, you need to shape up, like, you know, you're on thin ice. And so they put him in the garden center. Now here's the thing. One of the employees that had been working in the garden center for a long time and was well respected was the mother of another friend of mine, because there was this other guy that transferred into our department whose name was also Rob. We called him Little Rob because he was kind of short. And and so his mom would come over and talk to him during breaks and things. And so after they hired Genocide Rob back to work at the garden center, usually when she came over, it was to complain to Little Rob about the crap that Genocide Rob was pulling in garden center this time. It's like, oh, you won't believe what he did this time. It's like, oh, what now? So we give him the broom. We ask him to sweep. Line of dirt along the fence. He just pushed the dirt up to the fence because, you know, the garden center is kind of like half outside. So he just sweep the dirt outside and just push up to the fence, trying to sweep it under the fence out instead of sweeping it up into a pile and, you know, getting rid of it. This whole line along the perimeter of the fence.
You can't even sweep correctly? Can't even hide that.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't sweep.
No.
Yeah. So that was, you know, the time. So eventually there was also a Home Depot nearby, and I think the Home Depot paid better than Walmart at that time. A lot of people started taking second jobs at Home Depot, and some of those people ended up quitting the Walmart and just working the Home Depot full time after, you know, getting in there. Mm-hmm. So he ended up quitting Walmart to work for Home Depot is what he ended up doing. And
no, okay, yeah. So this is okay. Never mind.
Go ahead.
I'll save that for a minute. I was just saving it for a minute.
Okay.
I'll save it for a little while. So,
what's that?
I said I'm saving my what I've learned for later.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is a good idea.
What I learned, and I just realized I'm not going to say that now. I'm going to wait.
Dune writes in, he was the original no F's dude, I guess. No, Joe was the no F's dude. Sparky wants to know, what department would Johnny want at Home Depot? I don't know about back then, but now I'd probably take, you know, electrical, because I've used a lot of that stuff to wire this house.
It's like, I know that wire. I know that electrical section by the back of my hand.
But Joe,
wouldn't you want to be in power tools?
You know, maybe.
Since you burned out it, you know, don't use this too much because you burn the fucker out.
There you go. Joe was another guy that I knew at Walmart that he got a job at Home Depot, and he was pissing off members of management, but not enough to justify firing him. So at some point, he got the job at Home Depot, and they tried to use that as an excuse to fire him, saying conflict of interest. So they pulled him into the back office. They said, well, we're letting you go.
Conflict of interest?
And he said, why? You go, well, you got a job at Home Depot that we see that as a conflict of interest. And he laughed, and they go, why are you laughing at us? And he's like, you're stupid. I'm going to sue you for wrongful termination for that. There's no conflict of interest. And that's his version of what happened. All I know is,
tell people are going to sue him.
All I know is that that's his version of the story. And he didn't get fired at the end of that conversation. So somehow he talked his way out of that fire.
So his threat that he would sue him for wrongful termination got him.
I guess they decided to find grounds because they But well,
So,
the other,
so what they interpret it, well, okay, we have inefficient grounds.
well,
So
there was
they
another
want to-
problem. I don't know when this happened in the chain of events, but there was some point in time where a member of management tried to, get back at him for pissing her off by making him push the carts in from the parking lot. And after a few days of doing that, he went and got a doctor's note saying that he couldn't do that. And she
Really?
didn't. And so
Probably the
she.
fake one.
And she responded to this by saying, "Get out there and push carts." She's like, "No, I got a doctor's note. I ain't doing that." And she grabbed his arm, and he reported her for that. And she was
That
given
you're
she-
not allowed to touch.
she was given the option to take a transfer or move on. And she didn't want to transfer to the other store they were going to transfer her to. Now that's the gossip I got. So I'm repeating hearsay.
He decided to leave.
So it's not like Joe didn't have some dirt or some grounds to make complaints about things that happen at this store, but he not very good, shaky ground at best. But still, he talked a good talk and managed to walk this legal line of staying hired. So he, at one point, he decided that he was just going to fuck around at Walmart because he was happy working at Home Depot. He was just keeping the Walmart job until they found a way to fire him just for fun. Like literally one day, dude was walking around the department with a football he got from the toy department saying, "Hey, catch," to any other member of employment, any other employee he found. Catch the ball. Hey, toss it back. Like he did. He walked by the department like, hey Johnny, catch. Boom, boom. Hey, threw it back to him. He continued on. I'm like, I can't believe this shit. That was, and eventually he got tired of waiting for them to find a way to fire him, so he did eventually quit.
Yeah, they wouldn't have fired. I bet you they wouldn't fire him. I bet you they wouldn't have done it just because.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyways,
He hasn't damaged anything. By
so
doing
that is the original no F's dude right there.
Nice.
Joe. Oh, Joe is funny. He had a brother-in-law that was working at the store too, named Brian, and he liked to prank him. So one day, Brian was not as familiar with porn stars as we are, and so Brian gets a call from Joe describing his voice, and Brian's working the foods department, and Joe's like, "Hey, y'all got any of that that John Holmes sausage over there in stock?" And so Brian actually goes, "Oh, let me check." Asks the assistant manager, "Do we carry John Holmes sausage in the store?" She grabs the phone out of her hand. Go, "Who is this?"
Oh, I wouldn't have known either. I don't know I don't.
Yeah,
know that.
you know what? I think I had to Google that one too, but leave the
I'm
images
like,
off.
huh?
Apparently, he's a well-hung dude. Is who that
Oh.
is?
What was the name?
John Holmes.
Brian, don't look that up, please, and make sure your safe search is
I'll
on.
just believe it.
Yeah, just make sure your safe search is on if you do.
Yeah. John
You-
Curtis
you don't need one
Holmes,
of your- one
better
of your
known as
two
John
wives to
C.
come in,
Holmes or Johnny Wad, was an American pornographic film actor.
Oh, we looked it up. Oh God.
Oh, he's got the stash.
Oh.
He's got the old school
the
porn
the
stash.
70s
Whoa, what was that?
That's someone outside squealing the tires.
Nice.
That's on your
Just
end,
wait, just wait, you'll hear it.
Mars?
This person does this. This is the person I think that ran on my stairs, but yeah.
Did you put a huge rock out at the base of your stairs? So
There are rocks outside of it right now, but there aren't huge ones. No, that one is not the main one. There's one that like pulls out and revs its engines and does the spin outs and everything right in front of my condo. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
God.
The dude that ran into your stairs has some damage to his car.
Well, it did. It was the
My-
front.
my,
'Cause they got the front light up there,
my folks had this place on this lake in Massachusetts,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the neighbors was he was a funny guy. He would have kids that would turn the corner and take out his mailbox,
Oh,
right?
that's no good.
And they did it multiple times, right? These stupid kids. Anyway, so we got these big rocks that are about 3 feet in diameter. And one day he heard this crash of the guys. You know, these are kids with a good sized
Right.
truck.
Right.
And the truck was hung up on the rock. And they couldn't get away. Nailed you.
Now my condo smells like burnt rubber. That's wonderful.
Oh, nice. Well, on that note, it's time again to put to bed another fun-filled edition of the show that we call
Insert title here.
But we do try to be educational here, and Mars has got something he learned this week.
I forgot what it was already.
Oh my God!
I learned that my condo now smells really bad of burnt tires because they smoked them outside.
But you learned something when we were talking about Walmart and Joe and pushing the carts and...
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
That's not jogging the memory?
No, I'm sorry.
All right, it's gone.
Oh, well,
okay.
It's fine.
And Brian, what have you learned this week?
Well, you got that video that you played. That was interesting. At 1:45, whatever it was,
Yeah.
a.m. That
Yeah.
was bizarre.
I don't know if
But
we were
also-
learned. Go
Also
ahead.
learning that you could get away with a lot of crap at Walmart. No, I don't take crap, so I'll get whatever. You don't need the job that much.
And Sparky Toaster learned Johnny needs to get a new snow plow driver.
Yeah.
And I learned, as cool as it might be to date the cool girl in high school, don't do it when you're in the mid-20s. Trust me, bro. On that note...
No, that's not acceptable. Guys, it's not acceptable. After 18, go for it, but before 18, don't, please. In the U.S., that is very frowned upon.
On that note, we should raid... Oh, and Tired Actor is live doing Just Chatting. Let's see if she lets us raid her. Because she was always fun. She's been having fun. She accidentally shot someone that was trying to be nice to her in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Good.
Like she was stretching and accidentally hit this button. This guy's like talking to her, like you know, hey, take you over to the gun shop here. Well, and it just pulls out her gun and shoots him point blank. It's a great short. You got to find it on her shorts on the YouTube Tired Actor channel.
Red Dead Redemption is a good game.
Yeah, I mean, and she's just the cutest thing. So we're gonna raid Tired Actor again, and yes, it let me raid.
Yay.
Excellent.
Yay.
We'll be back next week. You all have a great week and have a good night.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see ya.
Right, I guess.
No one can drink cups.
Implanting it into you, and